Hey, you've been thinking about it for a while. You've been watching the 410s. You've been going to the races. You've been racing your other car. Well, here's the 5 things you need to know when you're thinking about going 410 racing. I'm going to give it all to you right now. Hi, I'm Billy Dietrich, sprint car mechanic and driver. I've been around racing my whole life, and it's pretty much all I know. We created this channel to share the good and the bad and everything in between. Our crew may not be the most experienced or professional, but we get it done and we have a good time doing it. We'll show you what it's really like racing weekly at some of the best tracks in central Pennsylvania. I'm also going to share some sprint car tutorials, mechanics, and parts, and whatever else I feel like. So like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. And enjoy the ride. Yeah, boy. 5 things you need to know. You ready to go sprint car racing? From the least to most important, start with number 5. Number 5, you want to start out with a good chassis, a brand new car or a like new car, something you know the history of. You don't want to start out with something that's, has been wrecked or just isn't that good. It's old, it's raced out. It's important you have a good foundation under you. You're going to go through all this, and the last thing you want to do is start out with a bad foundation. Start out with a car that's, it's just not that good. You're going 410 racing. You're moving up. This is the best of the best. You got to start out with a good car. That's number 5. Number 4. So you're going 410 racing, and you got a lot of horsepower. What's the next thing that's important on my list? Drive line. You got to have a new drive line. New U-joint, new drive shaft, even on back to the rear end. Even the rear end don't have to be brand new, but you need to know what you got there. But it's super important. Start out with a new drive line. You can search one of our other videos, the AL drive line video. Best on the market, no doubt about it. Get yourself an AL drive line. Or, you can go with the standard stuff, but you need to have brand new stuff so you know the history of it and you're not taking any chances. A lot of horsepower right between your legs. Gotta have a new drive line. All right, number 3. Number 3 on the list sounds like a silly one, but you need to have good tires. I see this all the time. Guys go 410 racing. It costs a little more money. Then you go to the track and you got wore out tires on the car. Hey, guess what? You can't compete with no rubber. You got to have good tires. You're going to go through all of this and go to the track with bad tires. Wrong. You're not giving yourself a shot. You're going 410 racing. You just got to figure on spending the money on tires. You're going to go through a couple tires tonight. It's part of the deal. So put that in there. Number 3, you got to have good tires because when the rubber meets the road, that's everything. Don't matter what else you got. All right, we're up to number 2. Second most important thing. All right, so 410s. We're going to talk about motor rebuilds. That's got to be right up there towards the top of the list. Often asked, all kinds of different answers, but I'm just going to tell you the way I see it. You got to figure on your motor rebuild being 12 to 15, 18 races. Figure on that in there. And money-wise, it can be expensive. $7,000, $8,000, $10,000, depending on where you go and what you're needing. It could be a little less, but I'd figure $7,000 to $8,000. And hey, it's a 410. You can't afford to have this thing go poof because it's going to cost you a lot more than $7 or $8 if you try and run it 25 nights and the thing blows up. Here it comes, number 1, the one you've been waiting for of the 5 things you need to know about going 410 racing. Number 1's next. Number 1, the motor itself. You need to have a good motor. You got to start out with a good, solid motor. And there's a lot of reasons why. I'm just going to give it to you right now. Number 1, you want to be able to compete. You're moving up to 410. This is going to be the top of the best of the line, top of the line, the best. You name it, all that jazz. Even if it's a weekly show, you're still racing against the best of the best, right? 410 racing. You don't want to go buy a motor that you know you're automatically going to be behind the 8 ball. You know, like how are you going to qualify if you got a motor that's a second off the pace, right? You know, here's the other thing. You buy a motor that's old, you can't qualify, you can't get any experience. How are you going to get any better? You're just not. So, number one is you got to spend the money on a good motor. It doesn't have to be a brand new motor. It can be a used motor, but you got to know who you're getting it from. You got to know the history. You know, there's going to be motor builders out there that are going to say, hey, you know, this motor's old, it's lapped out. You know, I'm not even going to touch it. You know, so, hey, I've been there myself. I had old motors that were wore out, and you know what? Bad. Sucked. Couldn't qualify. I mean, sometimes we still don't qualify, but I'm not going to blame it all on the motor, right? But I'm just telling you, you know, you're going to invest all this time, all this money in it. You need to, the number one priority when you're going 410 racing is the motor. You know, I see a lot of people spend money on extra parts. You know, they got a whole trailer full of parts. They got 2 or 3 cars, all this stuff. You don't need it. You know, your number one priority is the motor, because if you don't have a good motor, you don't have a good piece under the hood, you're going to be behind the 8 ball all night long. Doesn't matter how much money you spend on the actual car and everything else on the list, 4 through 1. If you don't have a good motor, you're just going to be fighting an uphill battle the whole time. So, you know, be prepared. If you're going to go 410 racing, save your pennies. If it means waiting an extra year, just do it. You get yourself a good motor. You don't want something that's going to need freshen right away. It's going to blow up. Then you're going to be costing yourself a lot more money and a lot of time wasted. So I appreciate everybody checking out the video. Like, subscribe, comment below. I know this is a pretty wide topic and everybody has their own opinion. Please comment below. Tell me what you're thinking. Add your 2 cents. Hey, I read them all. I respond. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.